pushing the button.
Do it.
I pushed it.
Push it.
I pushed it. Push it real good. Bump, 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 bump. Push it real good.
You got the shoulders going.
I was just looking down like, I don't remember the rhythm.
Yeah.
I should know
Me
this
neither.
too.
Let me
But hey,
mute my phone with all my fans.
oh,
You know,
yep, let's do that. Make sure we do.
texting.
That's very important.
Yeah.
I could get yelled at my wife. I could get yelled at by my wife afterwards, please. But
I don't know about
first
that.
and more importantly, welcome to the
Right.
DukNilla NFL cast.
Yes.
I am Vanilla James with my co-host, the luxurious.
Gray bearded.
I was about to say sexual
We're live,
satious, but
We're live right now, bro. He slapped me in the head with the tortilla. He tortilla slapped me, folks. You're lucky. You're lucky that dinner was good. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't even know how do I'm like in shock because I'm like, how do I up a tortilla slap?
It's tortilla.
A tortilla. I'm
Get it
like,
straight.
do I restart? Do we restart? Do we re-go? What?
No.
Do we just roll it?
Just
we just roll
with
it?
Just
No,
roll with it.
one take, baby. God damn. I don't.
Everybody
Welcome to the
knows rules.
DukNilla NFL cast. I'm Vanilla James with my co-host Olduk, the legend
Yeah.
in losing.
Oh my gosh, here we
Who
go.
has the
Just
crown?
slap me. Boom, boom,
Woo.
boom.
So
I don't know.
I am the champion.
We don't see numbers on the screen, so I think we're tied there.
I didn't think we need to put them up. I didn't think we needed to.
tied, so I think
No,
we're good.
because
Okay,
the
cool.
people know I took the Rams and I won with the Rams. That is a
and cried like a little
two-game lead. Crying. They're
No,
only
you
crying
did.
as Cincy fans. Oh my God! There's an
No,
edited
you're
photo where he's
crying because-
offsides.
because your little Matthew Stafford won a championship.
Oh my God! Did you see the video where like the photographer falls off stage?
No,
Oh my God! It's so bad. It makes him look so
At
much
the-
like an asshole.
during the ceremony.
I don't. It was like
Was
this past weekend, like
Yeah, he
either
was
today,
drunk on the
yesterday.
stage.
Well, there's that one which was hilarious, but no,
Okay,
there was
yeah, that
another
one.
one where a photographer's taking a picture of him, and she like backs up at falls, and he like sees it, and he's just like, oh shit, and walks away. Doesn't go like, hey, you okay? His wife comes running in, and she's like,
Oh, that's funny.
oh, optics wise,
sucks,
he
but
looked
that's
like an asshole. I was like, damn,
Oh,
man.
that's-
And then he came out and apologized and said they were paying for everything for her, all her medical bills and everything, which is probably the least you could do at this point to try to save your image.
Yeah, but come on.
I
mean,
still love you, Stafford,
not
but
there
damn,
you're
bro,
not there to
put
save
the beers
everybody's life.
down. Put the
Yeah.
beers down, man. You
Yeah,
might
he
have
got
had
little-
one too many.
One too many? Yeah, about 10 too
probably.
many.
I
Cheers.
love you. You guys are the greatest. Woo!
I'm surprised he didn't say Detroit. You know,
Yeah.
something stupid like
Detroit,
that.
you guys rock.
Yeah.
Woo! Rock City. Oh, but how about that Super Bowl? That was actually a really good Super Bowl.
It was. It was good. It was just good overall. I was disappointed. Not disappointed. That's not the right word for it. I was saddened by Odell getting hurt. I really was. As much as I am not a
Oh.
fan of him, that sucks, right? I mean, he's playing in the prime, and he was lighting it up at the beginning, right? First touchdown, had 55 yards, 2 catches, right?
Mhm.
And a touchdown. So I mean, he was doing really well to start.
I told my
And then-
dad he was going to be the MVP if he kept it up.
100%.
I was like, this
I mean-
dude is lighting. It was, and that takes a lot. That's a lot from you, Duck, to say that because you're not
Yeah.
the biggest Odell fan. You know, he
No,
did your
not at
Browns
all.
a little dirty. You know.
Oh yeah. we forgive and forget, or I at least forgive and forget.
Yeah, he looked great. And I mean, he was having a really good, comeback story.
Yeah, he was playing well, and he was in a system that throws the ball. We all know that, right? The
Mhm.
Browns weren't a throw first team; they're a run first team. So it's a different type of play that you're going to get, and he's that kind of wide receiver that needs that type of um, whether interaction, whatever it is, socially too. I mean, he's in a different place. So I think it was a big fresh. Yeah, we see a lot of players do that, right? We see a lot of people kind of are a little down. I think he played down more than he actually was. That injury though took him a little bit, I think, more to get out of it than we all thought, maybe too. I don't know. And to see him just come back and play really well, it was good. It was good for him, I think. Personally, his mental state maybe was a little better for him too. But then, man, to get hurt at the end, it's a good thing that they won. It would have been pretty. Who knows what the media would have went on with that. If they ended up getting beat. But man, Cooper Kupp,
Unstoppable. Better yet, how about that
of all seasons?
that no look pass by Stafford?
That was insane.
I sent you that from a different angle, and it looks even more like.
Oh my gosh, that's just you can't guard that. All you can do is guard your man. I mean, the guy that was looking at Matthew Stafford, he's like, "Oh, I got this. I'm about to take this one down." What just happened? Where did the ball go? So that was insane. But
we've talked all year about Joe Burrow and Chase's connection. We've talked about how solid that connection is. Stafford and Kupp have this connection already.
Oh yeah,
Stafford and Kupp. It is lights out. I mean, it's gonna be.
Cooper Kupp made Matthew Stafford look even better, right?
Oh yes,
throughout this 100%. Year, 100%. I mean, he had the trifecta, right? So he had the most yards in the season.
Oh, the triple crown.
He was, and most
yards, receptions, and touchdowns.
He did everything, whatever it was. He won
triple
all
crown, baby.
Yeah, and then got the MVP. So
of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's just insane.
Aaron Rodgers, MVP for the year. Which I want to touch on. Mainstream sports media loves to hate on A-Rod. They love hating on him, which we know that's full political.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%.
Aaron, I mean, they want to say I've seen some knocking Aaron that it's his problem over there in Green Bay that he's crybaby. This team just drafted Jordan Love. They didn't give him everything. That's been bugging me all day. I've been waiting for a moment to put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, I mean it's I love the guy. I think he's cool, calm, collective type of mentality, right? He says what he believes and he stands with it. He doesn't wish-wash between what he's doing. Whatever his beliefs are, most people know what those are. And he does a good job with it, just like multiple other guys that I think Brett Favre's the same way in that mentality when he played. Came through some of that stuff. And I think that's, I think maybe Rodgers got some of that, that feeling, that type of mentality, maybe from him.
Rodgers being a Cali guy, coming to the Midwest. Right. Midwest is totally different than the Cali, okay? We are a totally different breed than them.
All right? Wisconsin right here. I'm in the thick of it, okay, when it comes to Green Bay fans
over here in Detroit.
Like you're right across the water, so or the pond, right?
I'm over the lake and some land. I got some distance.
A little bit.
I'm closer to New York than you.
Right.
By travel.
You're right close to Ohio. By the way, so
I'm right on Ohio.
100% a Browns fan too. You're a little bit from Cleveland.
Look, you're a Browns fan. Get out of here. I sympathize with Browns fans as a Lions fan. That's what we have in common. We know what it's like to suck. But let's go back. Let's get back onto the Super Bowl. Back on track a little bit. Cincinnati. This team, for everyone, if you're a Cincy fan, you have a high hopes for the future. Team looks great still. You're not losing many pieces, which we didn't. I totally forgot to mention at the beginning of this cast that today's episode or cast episode, whatever, today is all about free agents. And Bengals, you're not missing too many pieces, and you got the money to bring them back, bring some new ones, sign some of these big names we're going to be talking about in key places. One guy in particular, we'll talk about when we get to it. He's going to be huge in whether a certain person comes back, and if they don't, this guy might be gone for cap reasons, but we'll see. But Cincy, you look great. Joe,
I think I was gonna say about Cincy, the biggest thing for them is offensive line, right? I mean, we've seen
and that's one of the guys that we'll be talking about,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had some major. I mean, they had 7 sacks, or
can you imagine this team? Can you imagine Joe Burrow if he had an offensive line?
Oh, they would have won.
Yeah, this game would have been unbelievable. Like
it was. They would have had a better record this whole season.
Cincy fans, you have a high future. The sky, the ceiling, pass, break it.
Yeah, they had.
I'm excited to see what they do in the offseason, how they tackle free. Cause they got so much money. What did we say? 70 million?
Yeah,
a little under 70 million, but geez,
they got plenty of money to throw at the offensive line.
Other than that. Oh, go ahead.
They got a nice young wide receiver core in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Right. The question is on CJ if he's going to be coming back or not. We talk about him too. Yep. Joe Mixon's still in the mix, and he running back wise. So I think that might be something they're going to be looking to is in the wide running back as well. So, but this was a great game, man. It was fun to watch. I actually watched the whole thing. The other take is
watch the whole thing.
What did you think about the halftime show?
Halftime show. I'm glad you mentioned it. As a guy who's M to the M, Skittles, Detroit guy. Honestly, I wasn't impressed. It was what. It was my generation's music. I got the nostalgic a little bit. 50 probably was the 50 Cent coming out was the biggest thing for me. I was pumped. Man hanging upside down.
Did you see all the issues with him on that doing that? They're shaming him for how the weight he's gained on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some memes out there. It's like, that was 20-some years ago. You look at us now. Look at everybody else's fans by now. You should be gained a couple pounds. I know I have.
Yeah, I know.
So I wasn't shaming him.
Hey, if he was a woman, he would be beautiful and brave. Okay, like give them. Us men get criticized on a different scale. Okay,
exactly.
Just how it is. We get criticized. Not rightfully either. I thought he looked great. Personally, I was like, dang. To me, Eminem's getting to be that bitter old skinny man. Like he lost touch with his roots, in my opinion.
Yeah,
in good ways and bad.
Okay. It was better than having one single person on the stage, and it being all about them.
Well, I actually enjoy when it's one person or a band because every Super Bowl, they bring people on anyway.
Right.
There's guests there anyway. There was guests in this one.
I mean, it's essentially it was, right? Dr. Dre was leading it. He choreographed whatever it is. He led the whole thing. Yeah, choreographed it all, got it going, and then put the other pieces together. So we just knew who it was ahead of time that was going to actually be out there.
Which is like
I was not a fan of Mary J. Blige being up there, but I'm me being a more family friendly type of thing. So it wasn't the greatest experience to see when 50 Cent was out there with all these women, with no clothes on. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And then Mary J. Blige, her little outfit wasn't the greatest either, but overall it wasn't too bad. And they kept it clean. I don't think there was any big swear words slipped out. Maybe one, I think from somebody. Can't remember who said it was, but I didn't catch it. It was too loud for me to hear.
Personally, myself,
but, I know you don't care about that, but I do.
I care about it to a minimal amount. Where like if you're dropping some B words, some N words, and I'm like, hey, time it out. Right. I'm okay watching sweaty men plow into each other, knock each other's head off, but swearing to a minimum.
Thanks for clarifying. Sweaty men like sumo wrestling. What are you talking about?
Wait, what do you want? Whoa!
Come on!
Whoa! Head out the gutter here. back to the Super Bowl we go.
Yes.
Let's. So I want to, we'll end Cincy right here, but we'll get into a little bit of the Rams. They after winning, they had their parade. They had their little shindig show on stage. I think everyone's coming back. I know there was talks that Sean McVay was like, he already squashed it. He's coming back. They were cheering for Aaron Donald to come back one more year. And he's told the crowd, what he's like, we're going to go get another one. That implies he's coming back. I think a few people that won't come back, Eric Weddle, he just tore his bicep, played with a torn bicep. He's done. He's walking away. Whitworth is probably the biggest question mark for me. What is he, 41, 42?
Who?
Andrew Whitworth.
I missed it. 40.
40? Okay, so I believe he's done. He talked about like wanting to be done, and I think he's going to be done.
Dude went out with a bang, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Walter Payton Award. And
OBJ's already said he'll take a hometown discount, plus his injury history. He's not going to garnish what he wants from other teams. And to me, he can't be... He's a perfect complement to Cooper Kupp. Because he's not... Beckham is still a guy you want to double team, but you can't. And his injury history proves that he should not be your number one threat because he's going to miss some time. That's just it's the sad truth is he's going to miss some time, and he's going to win you a lot of games too. And I love them bringing him back. Von Miller talked about coming back. We're going to talk about him shortly here. But the band's going to get back together, I think. And there is some questions with that when it comes to salary cap because they are pretty crushed on salary cap at the moment. So they're going to have to make some cuts. We're going to get into other players that are off this team that are here in free agency that, we're going to play a little game. I haven't, by the way, I haven't told Duck this, but we're playing a little game today.
Okay.
We're going to be playing keep, or it's going to be re-sign, retire, or you're going to name a team they move on to.
Okay.
So what team they move to, retire, or they re-sign. That's going to be the three options.
Okay.
So with that said, let's go ahead and unless you got any more Super Bowl things we want to talk about, let's get on to free agency here. And first up, we're going to be talking about the centers. We're going to be talking about the O-line in general. One big center, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, and that's going to be from Tampa Bay. Ryan Jensen, center. I think he's going to be key here. And I'll ask your opinion before I go into my little rant about it. Do you think he's going to re-sign? He's not retiring, so re-sign, or what team does he go to? Rated one of the best centers in the league.
Right, which is, that's big. I think it has a lot to play with them still trying to get Brady back.
That's what I wanted to bring
I think it's going to be, if Brady comes back, he'll for sure be there. If not, we don't really know, right? I'm looking him up right now. He's a little over 30.
I'll go on my little rant here.
Go ahead.
One of the best centers in the game. To me, it's all tied to Brady. And there's a couple other free agents here we'll talk about that I think will be as well. Tampa Bay's pretty strapped on some cash. They said they would make things work for Brady, which worries me on what we would cut to get to Brady and to get to, because some of these other people that we're going to talk about, and including a Ryan Jensen, one of the best centers in the league, one of the most trusted guys for Brady. If you don't bring him in, you got to bring someone else in, and I don't think that's where Brady wants to be, working under a new center. I think you want that familiarity, that guy. So if Brady's coming back, he has to come back. Now, if Brady doesn't come back, this team's pretty much in a rebuild mode where they got to either plug and play a new QB, which again, we talked about this with New England. I'm not looking for another Brady. I just need
Yep.
a competent quarterback under center. This team's got plenty of pieces to get it done. You are losing some extreme amount of depth here, especially when we get into tight ends and other positions. So there are some questions there, but yeah, Ryan Jensen.
Yeah, there's a lot of up in the air on that team in general. So, sure,
All right,
what we're gonna see.
unless you see another center there you want to talk about, he's my only center that I'm really big on in free agency.
I'm only looking at the higher end paid ones. You know, Matt Paradis is on the unrestricted free agency as well. I mean, his pay was right under 10 million, right underneath
Who?
Ryan Jensen's. Matt Paradis,
Okay.
is Carolina center. He's 32. You know, so we're not. I think we're seeing the age of football increase on an average, right? We're seeing. You know, we just talked about Whitworth. He's 40. He was playing. I didn't know he was 40.
Mm-hmm.
Playing on the line.
Well, here's the thing: offensive linemen, usually, especially good ones,
Yeah.
go into their 30s. When we talk about other positions like running back, when we talk running backs and you hear 28, we're like, damn, that guy's old.
Mm-hmm.
Like for running backs, 28 is old. Like you're talking about the last legs of their career. They got to be one of the elites to make it. You know, like a Frank Gore who could play into his 30s. You know, even a Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson hit 29, and people are like, "Is he going to retire?" And he played a couple more years. So it's like different position. I mean, when we talk QBs, it's like 40 is like the retirement age, 38 is the retirement age. We talk about linemen, it's mid 30s. Receivers, we talk about you hit 30, you're getting up there.
Right.
Even safeties and corners. I mean, when our corners get into their 30s, where they gotta, like, how many times have we seen, like with Charles Woodson, going from corner to safety? Too many times do we see those corner. You know, once you lose that speed, you go into the safety position.
Which is hard because you put safety as your last line of defense. You don't want your slow, one of your slowest guys out there.
Oh, he's got to be the sure tackler, baby.
Yeah, but he's got to be a good tackler. But he's also got to have a mindset to have that one step above of what's going to be happening.
But see, that's why you want that wily veteran.
Tackling is great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tackling is great. But if you can't position yourself in the right place,
and
you're slow, you're done.
Safety's got plenty of room to pre-run. They're in the back. They ain't toe to toe.
You still gotta pay attention. You gotta know your plays.
All right, next up, I want to get into some guards. I got 3 guards in particular I want to talk about, and that's Brandon Sheriff leaving Washington. Probably one of the top-rated guys. Kyle Long from KC. And Lincoln Tomlinson from San Francisco. Lincoln Tomlinson, not a big name. I know him because he's a former Lions first-round pick. They reached up at the draft to get him. He's been a journeyman, made it through a couple of teams. I think he's just kind of he's a plug-and-play. He's an all right guy. The main one I want to talk about is Brandon Sheriff for Washington and Kyle Long from KC. Now, Kyle Long for KC, there's a lot of Kansas City linemen on here. And we talked about last year, and this was a big emphasis for me at the beginning of this year, was KC's line. They needed to improve it, and they did. They went out and got some people. Well, guess what? Some of those guys were one-year contracts, and some of them, the other ones, kind of expired this year. Kyle Long's not like a big name, but he's a suitable name, right?
Right.
So does he re-sign, or does he go somewhere else?
With Kyle Long?
33 years old. Or does he retire?
I lost where he was here. He's a guard?
Yes.
Why'd you go from him not to Sheriff? You threw me off here. I wasn't ready for...
I wanted... All right, well, Sheriff, we know...
Long.
Sheriff, we know, is not retiring, but I believe...
I mean, he's got a small contract. You know, he's at 1.5 mil on his contract.
I mean, that's an estimate. What would
34? No, that's what he had on 2021.
Yeah, that's what he had.
Base salary is 1.1 mil, and he had 1.5.
And that's part of what I wanted to get into. Is I think they re-sign him because
depends. Yeah, I mean, it
how
depends
much
on
money
if it works out for them, right?
Yeah,
He's gonna want more. he's on a team that's gone to the playoffs for multiple years.
Yeah, but he's
And you're
33.
talking a center.
He's 33. He's a guard,
Well,
not
he'll
a
be
center.
34. He's 34 right now, actually. He'll be
That's
34 in this next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
to me,
not center. You're right. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
I think he stays.
I agree. I think he stays as well.
Mm-hmm.
The big one though is Brandon Sharp. I think he's
He'll
going
probably get
somewhere
another
else.
2-year contract. Do you think Sharp's going somewhere else?
I think he's going somewhere else.
Why do you think that?
Because I think he wants out of Washington. It's my personal opinion. I got no proof for this, no evidence of it. This is strictly gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going somewhere else. I don't think Washington's going to make that push to keep him. They should. But he's 30 years old. I think Washington needs to make some big money decisions because they got some money to spend. And this is a guy they should re-sign.
Yeah, I mean, $18 million
But I
contract,
expect Washington to not do that.
Come on. So he's on the list. They show comparable players. They got Joe Thuney on top. He's got a nice contract of a 5-year, $80 million. You got Joel DeTonio from the Browns, 3-year, $48. Then you have Brandon Brooks at his contract. Then Wyatt Teller, and then he's actually above Brandon Brooks and Wyatt Teller, so he's kind of in the middle where his contract is.
And here's the thing: he's going to command big money.
No, actually,
he's going to command it.
I spoke it wrong because he was 18 mil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is what his was. So he was at the high end. He was 2 mil above everybody.
Yep.
On this comparable list.
Granted, I mean that
these guys are really good too. So
yeah. Granted, that's also his last year. His contract usually is inflated. Mm-hmm. We talked about that last week with inflated contracts.
Yep.
But I think he's going somewhere. I don't think Washington's going to pay him because he is going to be one of those guys. He wants his money. He wants his bag. And he deserves that bag. He's a pretty good player. I just have that feeling. I don't think Washington's going to be making that push to pay people like that, and especially with the amount of holes they have. And you need to have foundation players, and I think he is a foundation player. But when I say foundation players for a rebuild, I want players that are going to be there 6 years plus, 4 years plus minimum, 4 years plus minimum.
I don't know
when you get to 34, he might not be there no more.
Right. I don't think you're going to see him get a big contract. Like I think that was his last big one. And I only go by his stats in that sense. His rating is high. It's 79, so it's at the top of this group. His hurried allowed. I mean, that's a big thing. 1.25. He's allowed that.
Now, hear me out. Yeah, I can agree with those, but I think also working with your alignment numbers and your stats are heavily skewed by your quarterback. If you have a rookie, they hold it too long. They get sacked, you get credited with that.
But this is his average.
They don't let the ball out soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they're going to look at those. So doesn't. I think
they are, but trust me, teams are not all looking at stats. They're looking at overall. Like, listen, what's your situation?
He had a on that. Every team is looking at stats, no matter what. It might not be their number one.
They are looking at stats, but they are not
looking at everything.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're only. No, I'm saying they're not only looking at stats, and I'm saying stats are a low end of what they are looking at.
I doubt it's a low end. I doubt
low end.
Very much doubt it's low end.
It has everything to do.
If you're giving up a sack every game, if your average is that bad, why would they take somebody even though they're paying that much? Even if it was a rookie quarterback from the year before, you're still that's not good. If you're giving up those kind of numbers.
I disagree that I believe these teams do look at other factors.
A higher percentage than what you think it is.
I'm not saying they don't look at stats, but I'm saying they look at film. They look at the tape more. I don't care. Like, stats are rubbish to me. Rubbish. No, rubbish.
To you, that's to you. But we're talking about people that
the film
use
is what I meant. And what I care about is film. I care about what film tells me.
Analytics, bro. Analytics. It's all about analytics.
Film, baby.
Every team does it.
Analytic, that's fine. But film don't lie. All right, let's move on to the left tackles here. We are going to kind of briefly. I would like to go more quicker through the linemen. They're not the flashy names, but I just kind of want to talk about them. I have a couple here. I'm going to jump around a bit. I'm going to kind of break these up. We're just going to end this game we're playing. It doesn't fit with what I want to do here. I'm gonna name a couple guys here, and they're not bums by any mean. They're plug and play guys. Like, all right, so the first one's Cam Robinson for Jacksonville. Then we have Riley Reif for Cincinnati, and then Jason Peters for Chicago. These are all starting left tackles. They're plug and play kind of guys. They're not a top 10 guy. They're not the best guy. They're not a great guy. They're just, I need help. I could fill a spot. Put a guy in there. He'll help me. Riley Reif, former first-round pick for the Lions. Again, we like to draft linemen. We did good for a while, and we just let them all go. Plug-and-play kind of guy. He's a beast. He's a manhandler.
Iowa, right?
I'm not sure what college.
Corn boy.
I just remember this man was like 350, 6'3", or so. I was like, damn. That's a big boy.
Oh, Riley Reif? Is that what you're saying?
Riley Reif, yep.
Yeah, he's at Cincinnati.
Yep. So those are three guys that those are people I'm key on seeing where they go, but they're not like if I see them, like for instance, I think if Riley Reif resigns for Cincy, I think they need a better left tackle. I do. But if he resigned and they got other pieces, I think that might work. I think that'll be fine. Cam Robinson for Jacksonville. I don't think they'll re-sign him. I think he's on the lower echelon of left tackles, but he's also decent.
I agree.
Jason Peters, I think, is more on the higher end of left tackles for Chicago. I think if Chicago wants to make any moves, they need to re-sign him. But they also might be looking at some of these other big names. The big names, including Nate Soldier, who's probably more on a down. He's probably on the high echelon of left tackles, on the lower part of that tier. He's a good left tackle, a veteran left tackle. Those are the real ones I want. I want the elite, at one point in their time, veteran tackles, because they're the guys that get sluggish, or not sluggish, but they could slug it out in the trenches. Probably the biggest name here is I'm going to butcher this name because I can never say it. Tyrone Armstead for New Orleans. This one and Eric Fisher for Kansas City. These are the two I really want to talk about. Eric Fisher, left tackle, on that higher echelon of left tackles. Problems with injuries. KC, I just talked about we talked last year, massive problems with the O-line. They addressed a little bit. They re-signed Eric Fisher to a 1-year deal. Now he's up again. You're going to bring him back. I believe we might have a guy.
My stats are showing he's at Colts. What is that? Is it just not updated?
Eric Fisher?
Yeah, if you look him up, it shows Colts, and he's wearing a KC jersey.
Yeah, that's probably.
So I don't know if his contract came over from that, and it was still through that, or what.
But either way, I'm interested in knowing who he signs a long-term deal with, because I think he will. I think Fisher went back to KC to try to win one, because he felt that's all they needed, And a lot of people did think Kansas City just needed an offensive lineman. But the biggest name here, and it's where the biggest drama comes in, is Armstead. New Orleans doesn't have money. What are they, $70 million over the cap?
Yeah, they gotta let people go.
This is a big guy. This is a huge name. We're talking top 5 left tackle.
Yeah, Eric Fisher was on Colts last year.
Was he?
He was Kansas City pretty much all prior to that, yeah.
Okay, so he got traded then?
Yep. I didn't realize that either.
I didn't either, but hey, that's even worse for I mean, I'm curious. That means Casey traded him on that last year. That's even worse for Casey, in my opinion. That's terrible.
You know whose fault it is? The Mahomes.
Right? It's all the Mahomes.
It's all. Yes.
Filling us with false news on our report here. But Armstead, I'm going to talk about Armstead mainly here. Do you think it's a possibility? I've heard reports that New Orleans will find a way to re-sign him. $70 million. over the cap.
Yeah, I think they
I've
got to
heard
let him
trades for
go.
Michael Thomas. My Lions are on a list of trade partners for Michael Thomas. I'm terrified. Like, don't, please, God, no.
No,
If
I
there's a
would take
God, don't
Michael
send him
Thomas in a
here.
heartbeat.
I
I want him to go to the Browns. The dude is amazing when he's not injured.
I have Jared Goff as my QB, man. I don't waste his talent here, man. I want good players.
Goff is going to be a backup here. You're getting someone else.
But here's my Lions are strapped for years. Okay, that Goff contract. I think after this year we're strapped on the cash, but next year we can eliminate it. Until then, we have to be strategic with our money. And contract, I mean, like next year is if Goff could step up. I mean, that's great, but his contract's still too ballooned for what he is. But Armstead, he's not. So we could 99% sure he's not going back to New Orleans.
I don't see him signing him.
Where's he going to go? Who desperately needs? And we already know who. And it's a team that should not re-sign Riley Reef in the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
The perfect
fit.
The
Bengals would be huge to pick him up.
The perfect fit. Bengals
need to overhaul
massive
their
amounts
whole
of money.
line,
Yeah.
So.
And this is a rock piece to put up there. This is the kind of guy you put up there and you're happy. He's here. I'm looking up his age real quick. I can't remember his age.
30.
30?
Oh, he'll be 31 here soon. He's
I mean,
30
that's
in
still
217 days. So
we're not in a rebuild, so I don't need the 4+ years. Boom. There's our guy. He's here. Let's start him.
There's only one issue. I saw he only played 8 games last year. So I don't know if injuries are a big thing. 2016 he played 7 games. He didn't play a full season in his whole career. He didn't play every game. So I don't know if he's got injury issues. So that might be a little deterrent for some people. You know what I mean? If you've seen those numbers, 15 games is the most he's ever played in 1 year.
Yeah.
I would be a little hesitant on a big contract with him.
I think I'd be hesitant on a big time long-term contract.
Right.
Yeah, 2 years though. I give him 2 years. Big money. I mean, you're not strapping for cash, but you need to win now while your QB's making that lesser money. And Joe Burrow's gonna be a $50 million a year guy. He's gonna be.
We'll see. We'll see what type of attitude he takes. If he takes the route, if he takes that type of route, like Wilson did, or if he take a Tom Brady route, knowing he can win more championships.
Granted,
you know what I mean?
Brady didn't always take pay cuts. Brady got his bag.
Yeah, but it
was only late in Brady's career that he started taking more pay cuts.
Yeah, but he still didn't get paid huge like the guys are now.
And this is my weakness in tackles and offensive line. I'm not big on the names. I don't know a lot of them. So, if we miss one here, please forgive us. Like the Eric Fisher deal. We're not hip.
Let us know.
We're not hip on the linemen.
Let us know more about them. Yeah, let us know more about them in the comments if there's some stuff that we missed or guys, and we'll talk more about them.
Or if we got it wrong, let us know. Hell.
That too.
So there's only one right tackle I want to talk about, and that's Trenton Brown of New England. I think he resigns. I think this is a guy that's going to come back. You got to keep your pieces together, and I think Bill Belichick's pretty much kept his linemen, other than Nate Soldier, staying there. Nate Soldier just wanted out, so I think he's staying. But another good guy. Any other tackles? I'm not big on, unless you got a couple. We're gonna move on to tight ends.
No, we're good.
Now, tight ends we got a list. This is a list. I have quite a few. And I guess I'll go into the plug guys, right? I'm gonna name some guys that are these aren't your big names. They're not even quite. I guess I have really one. There's Max Williams, Arizona. Gerald Everett, Eric Ebron, the Panhands himself. These are guys that I think are they're serviceable, but you're not getting a elite tight end at this point. These are guys that are good, but they're not proven. Eric Ebron being pretty much strictly a pass catching tight end with butterfingers. I have no bias from his time in Detroit. He can, I'm not big on him. But some notable names I want to get into. Zach Ertz got traded from Philly to Arizona this year. He still looked like he had a good step on him. I think he still plays this year. Where? To be determined. Rob Gronkowski of Tampa Bay.
Is he even going to play? I think it's all based, like you said, right? This is all Tom Brady on these things, so.
Yeah, I mean, he hinted like he would play without him. Like he felt like he had it back in him. But I think it's tied to Brady, 100%. We talked about we'll go into question mark names after. CJ Uzama of Cincinnati. I think he was a great fit for Cincy. Problem is, I don't think Cincy wants to spend that kind of money on his level of like if we talk about CJ Uzama or some of these other names will come up too. I'd rather have some of these other names. Some of these other names are much better run blocking ones, but if you don't get those ones, I wouldn't mind re-signing him. Robert Tonyan of Green Bay is a notable one. He never really got the shine, but to me, he looked good. A good run block, good passing, good pass catcher. To me, he looked good. Now, I don't think he's going back to Green Bay unless he takes a little bit of, he tests the water, doesn't get money. Green Bay strapping for cash. I think they're, $40 million over the cap. Talking about bringing in Aaron Rodgers. Talk about putting a new mortgage on the house to bring Aaron Rodgers back. Which, to me, I don't understand. Move on. They should move on.
Sorry. I had a text I had to look at real quick.
For a minute, you were like staring down. I'm like, did this man just go? Did I lose him? I had to look at the camera. I'm like, did he freeze out?
No, I'm here.
Yeah. Right. Robert Tonyan, that's, like I said, I don't think he stays just for money. Or they do bring him back because he tested the water. He ain't making enough. He can't get enough money, First big name is O.J. Howard. I don't think Tampa's bringing him back. Suffered with injuries last year. Rarely was even on the field. But he's a big body tight end that can catch the ball. And he's no bum. I'm really interested to see where he goes and how he's utilized. But this also might be a flashy name guy. Like, am I overlooking it? Is his name value? Am I valuing his name too much?
Maybe. I mean, like you said, if he's injuries going through that, I think that's a big thing with these teams. I mean, you're only, your roster's 53. That hasn't changed. When's the last time the roster size has changed? Even with this COVID stuff in the past years we've had, roster sizes haven't changed. They changed some things of way you could have other people on call ready to go from the practice squad, but they haven't changed it enough to where you can have, guys that are having injury issues. He's only 27. He's young. He's played 5 years, but continue to have injury issues. It's hard to put a lot of money into somebody that is going to be, you got to tell the future a little bit. And the future is there's probably going to have some more injuries, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you do with that? I don't know. I think it all depends on if Gronk comes back with O.J. Howard. So it's just kind of hard to tell with him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going. Even if Brady came back, O.J. Howard, I think, is a cap hit. I don't think he's getting re-signed. I mean, I honestly, I think if he was still on contract, I think they would cut him to make money. Like, I think he's one of those guys. They're moving on from him. Even with his talent, I just don't. Like you said, the risk versus reward. But I'm still very interested to see where he goes. I'm very interested to see how he plays, what he still has in the tank. But yeah, that's O.J. Howard. Evan Ingram from New York, free agent this year. This is another one that injuries. To me, much more of a superstar talent. Problem is he's injured a lot.
Right.
And your best ability is availability. So, I mean, that's another one. I would love to see where it goes. Can't wait to see the games, but who knows? Mike Giasecki from Miami. This guy, on the other hand, from Miami, big guy, big talent. He's probably my most excited player to see where he goes because this guy could play football.
Yes.
I am excited to see him.
I like watching him play.
I'm like, I mean, the Lions have Hawkinson, but I see this guy. I'm like, oh, please get this guy. Please get. Oh my God, this guy's available. Holy crap! Like he's the name to me that stands out. I'm like, oh, he's my number one tight end. I want this guy out of all these names. He's the guy. Next up, I have Dalton Schultz from Dallas. Him and I can't remember the other tight end there. They had this dual comp. They look good. He just looks like a football player. I don't know though his full talent. He was mixing in with another tight end there. Dallas always kind of developing tight ends. He is young, which is huge for him. He's gonna get gobbled up by a tight end needy team.
His contract was, just only $2 million this last year. Mm-hmm. 25, from Stanford. I think that has a lot to do with what he's doing too and who he is. So I think he'd be a good player for sure for a few more years. So
now,
see who Dallas needs. They need some playmakers. So
last tight end on our list is Ducks tight end. You know who it is.
Oh yeah,
David Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about him,
dude.
Is he good?
An athlete.
Is he worth we were only a year ago away. There was rumors he was getting cut.
Right.
And he looked a little better this year, but my opinion, I don't think he's re-signing.
I don't think he is either. I mean, his last year contract was $6 million, so it was a pretty big contract for him. He's probably going to be looking for a bigger one. He's almost 26. He's a freakish athlete. I mean, a very, very well-built machine.
Problem is we don't see too much of him on a scoreboard.
Well,
Mr. Stats over here.
Right. The problem with it is it's not more than the stats in that sense. He's had a lot of injuries, and so that's hurt him a lot too. This last year he played in every game, but one. The year before was 13. In 2019 he was 4 games. So he's had some injuries. He came back from them. He had a better year this year. He was only about 60% of the snaps for this year. So he wasn't in, so you're paying a guy $6 million to play 60% of a game. I mean, if he's not going to be in all the time, but we needed one because Austin Hooper kept getting injured too, so we had some.
You guys had a lot of good tight ends. You guys have had some awesome tight ends over
Hooper, there. I don't think Hooper will be back either.
What was it? Jordan Was it Jordan Cameron? Who is the really good guy? Like 4 or 5 years ago.
There. Yeah.
He was amazing. I was like, oh.
Yep. Yeah.
You guys have had some good tight ends.
I would like to have him back. I think he's going to be a good to have, but I think if Hooper's still there, if they don't have him gone,
I don't think Cleveland was Cincy a couple years ago with their cap space. They had tons of money. They still have a decent amount of money. Yeah, I just don't. I don't think tight end is on their list of giving. Like if Njoku comes back on a $2 million deal or something, yeah. But I don't think he is.
We got some young guys there, but I don't
know. Moving on. By the way, I think we're just gonna do offense this week. Next week we'll do defense.
Perfect.
Moving on to the wide receivers, probably the most anticipated position of all these. I'm just going to go down the list here, starting off with Allen Robinson for Chicago. He really wanted out this past year. Didn't want to be on this team. Demanded a trade. They tagged him anyway. He refused to sign it. Played anyway. Rookie QB. I don't. And here's this, knowledge is power. I don't know how's his bond with Justin Fields. Does he feel better about this situation? These are things we're going to need to hear, but I personally think he's gone. I think he's moving on. Sad to say is especially when we look at other names on this list, which I think will re-sign where they're going. I think he will be one of the big names. I think he'll be probably third on my receiver wish list here. He might be number 2, depending on if certain guys sign.
He's got the biggest contract on the last one, so I mean, out of any of those, money wise, he's probably looking for more. But he only played 12 games this last year, so he had some injury. He only had what? Is that true? He only had 1 touchdown.
I have no idea.
37 receptions, 410 yards.
I'm not a Bears fan.
The $18 million contract. That's not really up to par of what he should be doing. So I think that I don't know.
I was never really sold on Allen Robinson personally from his time in Jacksonville. He looked good, but I didn't know if that was quarterback play. I didn't know if he was just Then he went to Chicago and he seemed pretty good. But I never felt like he was all elite. I would love for him to go somewhere and show that, just go out and, because proof haters like, call me a hater, but call me, proof haters like me wrong, prove that you could be that guy. Moving on, probably to the biggest name that I do think will be a free agent this year, and that's Chris Godwin of Tampa Bay. I think I am 99.999% sure he will be a free agency. If they franchise tag him again, it's way too much money. They're strapped on cash already. We're talking about pulling every string to bring Brady back. I think Brady does, like when they asked Brady who he really wanted. He really wanted Chris Godwin.
Right.
Problem is, I don't think they can handle it. You'd have, and if they do, you have to get rid of too many pieces. I don't think this team's gonna be good. I already feel like if Brady came back, we're looking at needing defense. Like, they need to stop teams from scoring points, and they're probably going to need another receiver. But at the point of bringing in more defensive players and other free agents that are on this list that Tampa's losing, like a Gronkowski, like a couple running backs, they don't even have a running back on their team anymore. There's too many people, too many holes missing.
Yeah, they're hurt on the offensive side. That's for sure.
And I money-wise, I just don't see the money worth it for him. So it'll be very interesting to see where he goes. I have some teams in mind. I think he would be an amazing fit in Cincy. Just overload. They got the money. Give Chase a true number 2, a debatable number 1. Like, hey, he's gonna look great there. Plenty of other teams. I think if Green Bay can manage to bring Rodgers back. My God, that would be a great receiver to have alongside our next free agent here, which is Devontae Adams of Green Bay. I think his future is tied to Aaron Rodgers.
They need to get both those guys back.
I think Adams
Green Bay's
is Adams is Rodgers Gronkowski. I think wherever Rodgers goes, Adams will go. I could see Green Bay trying to tag him, though. Did not let him leave. Because he's all they got. I mean, there's other receivers. I have Alan Lazard on this list with an asterisk just because Adams is leaving. St. Brown is leaving. Their entire receiving room is leaving. So if Rodgers comes back, he needs people to throw the ball to. Adams has to be re-signed if Rodgers comes back. And he's going to want some more. He's going to want another receiver. Trade Jordan Love so they can get another receiver. That's what he's going to want. And I've heard reports that they want to sign him for 4 more years. And if that's the point, trade Love. Trade Love. Go get a second rounder.
Yeah, you can wait another year or 2. Pick somebody up.
So yeah, his future's got to be tied to Rodgers. Another guy I have next on the list is another asterisk guy I have, which is Will Fuller of Miami. I think this is a injury-ridden player, but I think he still has some talent left. He still has some gas in the tank. He's not a flashy guy.
2 games this last year.
Not a flashy guy at all. But I just think he has some talent wherever he's not making big money. Like you said, he's probably going to get hurt sometime in the year, but he's going to play on a team. It's just going to be interesting to see. I have him as a guy I'm interested to see where he goes and where he falls on the depth chart, because that'll entirely determine his future. It's sad to say, what's probably best for him is to go to a crappy team where he's going to automatically be the number 2. And he's going to get some balls, and he's going to get a chance to look better, because right now he's just an injury-ridden person or player, and he really got to get over that. Speaking of injuries, next up on the list is T.Y. Hilton of Indy. Mm-hmm. We're only a couple years ago. T.Y. was up there, top 10, right?
Yeah.
We were like, T.Y., man.
Yeah.
We were talking, what round do I draft T.Y.? Second, baby, all day.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking like he's like the Trent Richardson.
Drafting? Oof.
Yeah.
Oof, that's rough. That's rough. I wouldn't compare him in that.
I feel it. Trent Richardson, number 2 overall pick of the Browns. Amazing season. Madden cover, man. And then goes and just gets washed. Like, and I fully believe it had to do everything to do with the helmet, lowering your helmet rule, because that was his style of running, was to plow with his head.
Right.
I think it messed him up. I mean, I think when you're already hitting your head against other people, psychologically, you're going to have some damage there. So I think that just messed up his game personally. But T.Y. I think that's kind of not in an injury comparison, but I think like being an all elite player, and now he's not that guy. I would, like all these players, we want to see them prove us wrong, but can he be that guy? I think he'd be a perfect fit for a Green Bay even. You say you can't get a Godwin, so you can't get the big receiver, right? I think T.Y. would be a good fit, He's not asked to be the guy if Adams is there too. I think he'd be a good fit. But I'm always going to have those concerns. Is he going to get hurt again? Does he still have it in him? Now, next on, I want to. Here's what I have my thoughts on this next guy. Tell me what you think of Juju Smith-Schuster, Pittsburgh Steelers, wide receiver, free agent this year. What do you think,
dude?
Fortnite specialist, TikToker extraordinaire.
All right.
Heard he's going to Kansas City to do TikToks with the Mahomes.
I don't know about him. I'm not sure.
A lot of reports.
A 1-year contract. He only signed a 1 year last year for $8 million, right?
Yeah, they let him test the waters, and he felt he wanted to come back.
Yeah, and then he was injured. So
and what's sad to say is he took the risky deal with Pittsburgh rather than signing probably a contract he would have made way more money at somewhere else.
Yeah, he only played 5 games.
And granted, he played with Big Ben, and Big Ben, we can agree, is pretty washed up at this point, sadly. But he's got to go prove it again. So he's gonna have to work on probably another prove it deal.
Yeah, 1 maybe 2 year.
No, I think he's got the talent. I think he's got the talent where he could go and be that. He could go be an OBJ for the Rams, but do do it for another needy team, And I keep bringing up Green Bay, but another fit I think fits for Green Bay. I think this kid's gonna go sign for Cincy though, for real, or not Cincy, KC.
I think he's going somewhere. Yeah, he's not gonna stay. I don't think he'll stay there.
And I know I was joking about the Mahomes and TikTok thing, but I totally think that's gonna get him over there.
What do you think? I don't know if you have this guy on your list, but AJ Green.
I have him on my list. He was second away. But AJ Green, he looked decent in Arizona this year. I think he's at the point of his career, kind of like Julio Jones is. He needs to be a number 2. He's injury ridden. I could see him retiring. He's
almost 34. He's one of the older on the list.
I think he might do a 1-year contract somewhere for a receiver needy team, but I think his days are coming to an end. And I don't think he has the talent like another guy on our list here, which I'll jump into, which is Emmanuel Sanders. I think he still plays. He's a very speedy receiver. Still has that speed at his age, is pretty impressive. He still got it, can run a route, but to the best of them. But AJ has always been a catch the ball at the highest point. When you get older, those jumps don't go so high.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's two different situations there where AJ Green's probably an overall better receiver, like prime to prime. AJ Green all day. But father time, we're taking Emmanuel Sanders. Kind of getting in another one. We're gonna get into here is Sammy Watkins. Of Baltimore. He's kind of not found his home again. He's been bouncing around. Barely made a team even this year, and it's kind of what I want to talk about this week. Is I think it's going to be more of the same. I literally have an asterisk on him. I barely put him on this list, but it just felt too. Yeah. It was like what Dez Bryant was a free agent. No one signed him. I'm like, this is Dez Bryant though. Like we're talking Dez Bryant,
right?
He would be a great comeback king. The Lizard King. If he could just find a team and make some catches, man.
Yeah.
One of the more exciting names on my list is Mike Williams for the LA Chargers.
Yeah, I was going to bring him up too. Yeah. He had a good year.
Very good talent. I think he's going to go somewhere. To me, he's not like buried behind Keenan Allen. Other good receivers on the Chargers. I think he's going to go somewhere and be like an Allen Robinson, where he feels he's the number one guy, and he's going to go out there, have some good games, good season. He's going to go make his bag. I just don't think he's got that name value.
Right. I see them trying to keep him though.
I agree too. I think they will.
It could hurt him. It could be it was already an up and down season for them, from the beginning, and to lose a good wide receiver might be a little bit hard. So I don't know. I think they'll try and keep him.
All right. I'm gonna jump to this next guy, and I'm gonna go real quick. It's Josh Reynolds for Detroit, traded by Oakland to Detroit. He's got this prestige about him that he's supposed to be a number one. And I remember reading into this when Detroit got him, and it was supposed to be like this rejuvenated receiver core. Like, we got the guy. We finally have a guy. This is going to be awesome. I don't know what to think of him, though. I'd put him on this list because, as a Detroit guy, I'm like, what do I do? I think we traded like a third-round pick for him, too. Something stupid. And I saw him on the list. I'm like, isn't this guy supposed to be good? What? So I don't know, but I'm interested to see that just as a Detroit fan. More exciting guy, Christian Kirk, Doug. Do you know Christian Kirk? Captain Kirk here? This is one of the other guys I'm excited. I'm excited to see where he goes from a talent standpoint, because I think this kid can play ball. And I think he was buried in Arizona with Hopkins, AJ Green stepping in. I think he's a guy I want to.
I'd like to see the Brownies pick him up. We need some wide receivers. That'd be a good pickup.
I like him a lot.
I was looking at another guy too. I don't think you have him on his list, from Green Bay, Allen Lazard.
Yeah, I mentioned him when we were talking about Adams.
Did you mention him? Yeah, he had a good year.
Yeah, he was
700 yards, but 8 touchdowns.
Hey, Aaron's got to find someone to throw the ball to.
Right. So that's another guy.
And Lazard also, to note, also an unvaccinated player. Alongside Aaron Rodgers. Him and him were hand in hand in that. They stuck together. So he could also be one of those guys that I go where Rodgers goes.
Right.
And I was sad to say, I don't think there's going to be a big market for him. One, because I think some teams are going to not push for that because of that reason. I also think
yeah, it's unfortunate.
he hasn't had a chance to really prove himself in that standpoint.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't think it's. I
I mean, he's
I'm
just a
not
low
sold on him
contract.
either.
You know, right now his last pay was 675,000. So
Yeah.
it could be, you know, might be a couple million. You know, it might be something like that.
Oh,
They're
I think
looking
he's
at you.
gonna go
So,
test his money. He's gonna go test his
well, of
worth.
course he is. But I mean, you know, I think he'll land right around the 2-3 mil range
He'll
and
sign
get
for a
something.
team.
He might sign for more. Yeah.
It's just a matter of where and who. OBJ, I think we could both agree we fully expect him to resign with the Rams.
Yeah. I mean, contract wise, he didn't make much, but you know that was, of course,
I think.
front ended from the Browns too.
Yep.
So
I think he's going to make a reasonable contract, but I don't think he's. I think he'll make like 8 mil maybe.
I
And
don't know
that
if he'll make that much.
I mean, I wanted to say 5, but 5 felt low.
I mean, this contract was 1.25 mil.
But that's because the Browns ate that contract.
Yeah, right. But yearly cash, he made 4.2. So he didn't even really make, you know. I don't know. Depends on this injury. You know, how bad was it? I don't even know what it was. I haven't heard the details on that.
ACL.
Was it an MCL? Was it ACL? So you know he's out for a while anyway. So
one he injured before.
Was it the same one?
Yeah.
I thought it was the other one. So that depends. You know, there was at one point you wouldn't. That was your ending. Your career was ACL, right? And now it's a second. So it's possible he'd come back and play well, but I don't think they go big on a contract at all with him.
No, definitely not. They can't. The cap wise, they cannot afford it. This team's going to be. I mean, they're not afraid to make moves. They don't have to worry about signing first round picks for a while, so that's good for them. No first round contracts, which they need at this point. They need those low end fourth round picks, so you're only paying 30, 50K a year. I'm excited about the Rams, though. They excite me just because they make the splashy moves. But from like a sitting back GM James standpoint, it's exciting as well because it's like you got to make some cuts, buddy. You brought in the talent. Who you cutting? Where's the? You're trimming some fat, and some of us over here are hungry. Next up on my list is just a good starter, Marquise Goodwin, Chicago. What's his name? I believe it's Mooney or Tooney that the Chicago drafted last year or this past year.
Yeah. Mooney.
So he's really behind. You know, he's behind Robinson, behind Mooney, and I think he's still got some gas in the tank. I don't think he's going to be that number 1, number 2 guy. I think he's going to battle for the 2 spot. But he's just a notable name. A notable name with some emphasis is Adam Humphries. I think he's your Julian Edelman type. I really like him. Kind of buried in Washington for a bit there. I'm curious to see where he goes, but he's not flashy either. Jacoby Myers of New England. And I bring him up. You know, he's not this flashy guy, but he really kind of got lost there, you know? Kind of became that guy in New England. But he's not a flashy name, you know? When we talk about, we know him because of New England time. We know him because of Brady time. Kind of not a big name, but I think this kid's going to play somewhere and he's going to put some good numbers up. He's going to be, even if it's not numbers, he's going to go make some good catches for someone. He's going to fit somewhere and he's going to fit well. At least I hope so. Do you see any other receivers on the list that you want to bring up?
Just one, because he's got a really cool first name. His name is Chad Beebe. You know, for Vikings.
Chad Beebe.
Young guy. Yeah, just like
as a Lions fan, I'm pretty sure I've heard Beebe. That sounds familiar. Like he scored a couple touchdowns.
You know, he didn't play last year. It doesn't look like he's inactive, but you know, he's got potential. Keep an eye out of that guy.
Next up, we have running backs.
The runners.
I got 2. What? No, go ahead.
You skipping the fullbacks?
Yeah, man, we don't do fullbacks here.
Come on.
Is Kyle Juszczyk on
There's
there?
one notable running or one on there.
Who?
Patrick Ricard. Baltimore. We know Baltimore needs their running. They need, you know what I mean? They need some protection for the run. I'm just saying. That's a notable contract. $3.5 million. Just want to bring it up real quick.
Moving on. First up, we have Denver. Melvin Gordon for Denver. I think they're moving on from Melvin.
I think so too. What happened to him?
I mean, he wasn't that bad this year. Watching him, he still looked like he had it in him.
No, he had a good year, but what happened to him for him to leave?
Money.
The LA before. I mean, he was just
money.
Money. Yeah.
Austin Eckler and money.
He almost had 1,000 rushing yards, so he had a good year. He played all 16 games.
I think he's going somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they want to go younger in Denver. Next up is David. Talk about a guy that fell off the cliff. David Johnson.
Right?
You remember when David Johnson was the number one fantasy pick at some time? You were arguing like, I'm taking David Johnson.
There was no question on that, right?
Now he's in Houston.
That injury was huge.
Though. He was battling for a starting job over Melvin Ingram or Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Who later got traded back to the Saints.
How old is Mark Ingram? You know what I mean? That boy is old. He's been playing for a while.
Yeah, and David Johnson at times flashed, but I don't know. I'm interested to see where he goes and how he looks, because like name value, we feel like he's got it right. Name value alone, Johnson's got it. That's a big title to have your name be Johnson. All right, as a Detroit fan, you put Johnson in your name, Johnson. I'm ready to go here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see where he goes and see how he plays. Honestly, not high hopes though. My expectations are so low. Probably let me look here. My biggest, most intriguing name on this list is Leonard Fournette. He had kind of a falling out in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to Tampa, was the steal for Tampa. Another one of those, guys got a troubled past, has some problems. Bring him. Come on in, buddy. Goes to Tampa. It looks amazing, especially this past year before the injury. He looks so good. They buried Ronald Jones, who's also on this list for Tampa. He buried him. Ronald Jones fumbled like 2 times. You never saw the field, rarely. Which goes into Tampa. They got to re-sign some players. There's 2 running. Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. Those was your 1 and 2 running back. If you're bringing Brady back, and we got trips of fat, who's getting trimmed? One of those guys, if not both. I think they would try to make a push for Leonard Fournette. The familiarity of Brady, and he looks like he's still got a lot left. So the question is, if he doesn't go to Tampa, where's he go?
Man, I don't know.
Do we have a good fit?
There's teams out there that could use him for sure, but
to me, he is
I don't know where it would be a good fit at.
I would love to see him in LA for the Rams. Cam Akers has shown flashes, still I believe in his rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to move on from him. He did not look good in the Super Bowl or the games prior. Had a couple good runs, but just did not look good. Had a couple fumbles, costly situations. Not a big fan of. Darrell Henderson, I don't think he's a long-term answer. And you put a guy like Leonard Fournette in there, I think he's going to look good. The problem is, I think Leonard Fournette, if he moves on somewhere, he's going to want that bag. And a team like the Rams, I don't think they're going to be in the situation necessarily to give it to him without making some, trimming that fat. So then we have to look at other teams, and that's where the intrigue starts. Where? Who? He's my biggest name on. I'm excited to see where he goes, what happens.
He's probably the best running back on this list.
By far, by far.
You know, overall, and Melvin Gordon did have a good season too. A little better than Fournette, you know, yards wise, but
I mean,
and reception.
Sony Michel for the LA Rams is a free agent as well. I mentioned the Rams.
Right? I mean, he went from what? From New England.
And looking good. He looked like he was the first. He looked like he was going to be the starter for New England. New England traded him away like he was nothing.
I mean, Sony played all 17 games this last year too. He's one of the very few on this list that have actually played.
You know, I'm going to mention this a lot, especially when we get to defense. But New England has this thing about them where they let guys go for pennies.
Yeah.
They let them go test the water. Jamie Collins is the perfect example. I think Sony Michel is going to be this guy where he goes out, tests the water, and then he just comes crawling back to New England.
They seem to do it all too often.
Other notable names I have, I'll just briefly go by. Philip Lindsay, Miami.
Yeah. He, played at Denver, right? That's where he had his really good years.
His breakout season was in Denver, then went to Miami. Cordell Patterson, who is listed as a running back, but he's like an all-purpose kind of guy. I think he rejuvenated his career. He's going somewhere, and he's going to be a playmaker somewhere. I think he's going to get a little bit more money.
Not a whole lot. I mean, he'll be 31 here, so I think they're going to look at that age-wise. But, I mean, he had a good year.
Yeah.
He was a do-it-all. I mean, is this his third team?
Yes. If not more.
Vikings, and then wasn't he at Philly? Or am I mistaken on that? But he's been around a few teams. I know it's been the Vikings at least in this team here. But no, Atlanta, Chicago, New England, Oakland, and Minnesota.
Look at all those teams. He's been around.
He's been around the block club. You know what I mean? But
he proved it this year. He's got
look at this list though, from 2013 to 2021, all but one season did he play less than 16 games. 15. He had 15 games when he played in New England 2018. He played in every single game the past,
what's your best ability?
Game, which is huge.
What's your best ability?
And what he does, right? Yeah. And what he does, he's consistent. I mean,
no, I wouldn't go that far.
No.
He was consistent last year
in the games. I'm not saying
being available
in his play style, but availability is huge. So this could be another all-around type of player. The Browns had a guy like this too, Duke Johnson, right? He was a running back, but he also could catch the ball and do other stuff. I don't know what he's doing right now. I don't even know if he's still in the league, but we know he is, Cordell, and he's been doing pretty well with keeping consistent and playing, healthy-wise.
Yeah, I think he's gonna find a nice home. I think I'm rooting for him. We'll see if he could continue what he started last year or this year. Another notable name, Marlon Mack of Indy, kind of got buried behind Jonathan Taylor. Used to be a guy we were kind of high on. Now he kind of fallen off. I think he needs a new scene to rejuvenate his career. Then Ronald Jones. I think Ronald Jones also, he's got to go. I think he feels he's probably still a starter. James Conner looked really good in Arizona this year. Really good. Very curious to see where he goes. Maybe he comes
touchdowns.
Back.
Ooh. That's really good.
Also was Arizona, 2 running backs up. Chase Edmonds as well was presumed the starter. And then your boy Cleveland, Dearness Johnson.
Yeah, so the talk with that is there's potential of them getting rid of Kareem Hunt.
That was my
Dearness Johnson be the second, with Chubb. So I'm because we saw Dearness Johnson have a good year, right? He had that one,
he filled in and looked nice. Out,
he was beastly in a couple games. Is he on this list? I don't even see his name, so that's what I was trying to for. Hard time
Ernest
finding him.
Johnson.
Oh, there he is. He was way down there. He didn't get paid much. Yeah, he's only 26. You know, he played in 17. Is that right? He played in 17 games this year. Yeah. He
Doesn't mean he
3
played.
touchdowns. He was in. Yeah, he does. Games played means he's played. He might have played one snap, right? He might have came in for a timeout or something. I don't know whatever they count that. I'm guessing one play is your games played. But overall, yeah, they've got to sign him. He's a restricted free agent, so there are some restrictions within what can happen with him. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Hunt out, which is sad because when Hunt and Chubb first started the year, they were unstoppable. The dynamic duo could not be stopped, and then when injuries came in, you know, he couldn't stay on the field. I don't know how many games he played. He didn't play a whole lot this last year, maybe half the games. Yeah, I think Johnson, if he doesn't stay in Cleveland, somebody better snag him up because he's going to be one of those next great running backs.
Well, hearing that he's a restricted free agent, and you telling me the rumor that they're moving on from Hunt, I think he will be back, and I think Hunt will be gone. I think that's the best move for them too, as well.
Right.
I do think it is from cap standpoint, from a personnel standpoint. I think that is the correct move on my.
And if somebody, I mean, if that is the truth, somebody's going to snag up Hunt. He's still a good running
absolutely.
back. He's still dynamic. You know, he's still a great guy. So and running back. So
all right, last section. And now this section, we're gonna go real quick. It's our QBs. We are playing the game here, and this is it. This is all I want.
Okay.
I don't want explanations.
Got it.
One word answer. It is either retire, resign, or name a team they go to. Okay, that's it.
Do this.
All right. First up.
Am I going first, or are we gonna go back and forth?
No, I'm giving them all to you. You're taking them all.
Okay.
All right. Give me retire, resign, or name the team they go to.
Okay.
All right. First up, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I think they're gonna re-sign him.
Resign. Okay. Big Ben.
Yeah. Retired.
Okay. Andy Dalton. Played for Chicago. I'll name the team as well.
Yeah, they're not going to sign him, and he'll be a backup somewhere on a team that I would never want him to be on. So I don't know. Maybe
listen. This is one word answer.
Miami?
Give me a team. Give me a team.
I don't know.
No
Miami.
explanations. Give me the one word answer. Miami. Okay, you're wrong because of Tua. All right. You know what? Maybe it's a backup. All right, Cam Newton.
I think they
out of Carolina.
I want to make sure he's. I'm gonna say they're gonna re-sign him.
Okay, Tyrod Taylor from Houston.
Houston Texans. They're kind of cleaning house.
I'll even accept this as a fourth answer. Give me a backup.
For who?
Actually, no, that's not an acceptable answer. I was gonna say backup could be a generic answer, but no, that's not an acceptable answer.
They're gonna re-sign Tyrod. They don't have anything there right now.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And he'll be a backup because maybe they'll sign somebody that they'll bring from there.
Okay. All right. I'll let you say, instead of naming a team, re-sign elsewhere. How about that?
Resign. I don't know.
I want you to struggle, and I'm like, I would be struggling too. I guess putting you on the spot. No research time. Nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Come on.
All right. So retire, resign, sign elsewhere. Jameis Winston, New Orleans Saints.
I think they're gonna re-sign him.
Get the freak out of here. They don't have the cap space. He's going elsewhere.
They're gonna re-sign.
Teddy Bridgewater, Denver.
They're gonna he's unrestricted. He's gonna sign somewhere else.
I agree. All right, Marcus Mariota, Las Vegas Raiders.
Sure. I don't know if they'll resign.
That's not an answer.
Yeah, I was looking at. No, they're gonna release him.
Okay. Really? Oh, sign elsewhere? Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, New York Giants.
Retired.
Retire. Agreed.
He's retiring. Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky,
Dang.
Buffalo Bills.
How was he on Buffalo?
Buffalo really liked
I was
him.
really big on this dude.
Buffalo
wanted the
liked him
Browns to
because
sign
they
him.
said,
I know.
I'm giving away my answer here, but you go.
I think he's going somewhere else because
No, he's re-signing.
Potential.
He's re-signing. Okay, Buffalo loved him. They said he was like, if they didn't have Josh Allen, they had Mitchell Trubisky, which was crazy. Now the last one is your boy. This is your boy. You talked about this guy last week. You were really high on this guy. Okay, this was your boy. You mentioned him by name. Dwayne Haskins for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's going to stay at Pittsburgh. He's restricted free agent there. He's going to be starting in Pittsburgh.
No.
Mark my words.
No.
Mark my words, boys and girls.
All right, that's it. Next week, we will get into the defensive free agents. I'm glad I said that because we would be here for 2 more hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you might love that out there, but we got lives here.
45-minute mark. Trying to hit the 45-minute mark, did we?
Yeah, we hit the 45-minute mark. Yep. Well, with that said, hey, thanks for coming on and watching the DukNilla NFL Cast.
Yes,
we really appreciate it. I'm Vanilla James. This is my partner.
Hey, what about Brian Hoyer?
Dude, I listed notable names.
Come on,
notable.
Brian Hoyer, man, he's my boy.
We appreciate you all
Geno
for
Smith.
being here.
Hey,
Geno. Remember when Seattle was talking about trading Russ because Geno had one good game? He's like, and then he went out and showed the true Geno. I could have put Geno on the list. I next week I really wanted to talk about possible, like next week's topic was going to be possible trades, but I think we're gonna have to wait 2 weeks for that.
Yeah,
because we got to do defense.
Yeah.
So
we got lots to talk on defense.
Oh, lots. The list got ridiculous for defense. I mean, wide receivers was pretty big too, but
yeah.
With that said, hey, please like, subscribe, comment, share. We miss you guys. We're on YouTube at DukNilla on YouTube.com exclusively for now. But hey, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to us. And this is your champion of the year. Checking out.
Should we say Spotify? If you're looking for another podcast,
we might go to Spotify. I would like to. I'd like to be on all platforms.
Contracts are open.
We're not exclusively yet. We're exclusive here because this is what we got. But we're working on where we want to go, how we want to do it. We just got to start. This is the base, baby. You guys are here for the beginning, but it is not the end nor the middle. We are working it.
Yes.
But hey, seriously, good night. I'm rambling. This is what I'm known for. I ramble on. I can do this all day, baby. We could be here another 45 minutes, okay? So I'm pushing the button right now, and we're getting off, and I'm boom pushed.
Bite.